Here's something I didn't realize until embarrassingly recently. For most of my adult life, I lived from the neck up. I was the thinker, the planner, the figure it out person. If there was a problem, I analyzed it. If there was a feeling, I processed it mentally. I could explain my emotions. I could tell you exactly what was stressing me out. I could give you a very clear play by play of everything happening in my life. But if you had asked me, where do you feel that in your body? I would have stared at you blankly because I had spent decades treating my body like a vehicle, something that carried my brain from meeting to meeting, task to task, responsibility to responsibility. I fed it, I moved it occasionally, but I wasn't in it. And here's what I've learned, what I wish someone had told me years ago. You cannot think your way into a new life. At some point, your body has to come with you. All the mindset work, all the permission giving, and all the identity digging we've been doing in this podcast, it's essential. If it only lives in your head, it won't stick. Today, we're talking about something that changed everything for me. Coming home to your body and why that might be the missing piece in your midlife reinvention. Welcome to The Joy Shift. I'm Kylie Suarez. Let's get into it. By the end of today's conversation, you'll understand why women like us get cut off from our bodies, how your body is actually trying to guide you. If you learn to listen, and 3 simple practices to help you ground back into yourself when everything feels chaotic. Let me paint a picture. You're in a meeting. Someone says something that lands wrong. Your stomach tightens. Your shoulders creep towards your ears. There's a flush of heat in your chest. And what do? You override it. You smile. You respond like a professional. You keep going. Or you're at home, exhausted. Your body is screaming for rest. And instead of listening, you push through. You empty the dishwasher. You answer 3 more emails. You tell yourself you'll rest later. This is what women like us do. We've been trained to override our body signals since we were girls. Tired, push through. Uncomfortable, be polite anyway. Overwhelmed, figure it out. Hungry, finish this first. And after 20, 30, 40 years of that, we lose the connection entirely. We stop hearing the signals because we've taught our body that we're not going to respond to them anyway. We become very, very good at operating from the neck up. I know this because I lived it. When I started my coaching certification, I expected it to be about strategy, about frameworks, about helping people think through their problems. And then I ran into something that stopped me in my tracks: body-based work. The practice of actually feeling what's happening in your body, not just explaining it, but living inside of it. And I realized I didn't know how to do that. I could tell you I was stressed, but could I feel where stress lived in my body? Not really. I could tell you I was excited about something, but could I find that excitement physically? Barely. I had turned my entire emotional life into a thinking exercise. And here's why that matters for reinvention. Your body holds the truth your mind keeps talking you out of. Your mind can rationalize anything. It can people please. It can convince you to stay small because it's safer. But your body knows. It knows when something is wrong, even when you can't explain why. It knows when something is right, even when it doesn't make logical sense yet. It knows when you're settling, even when everyone else thinks you should be grateful. The body doesn't lie, but most of us have stopped listening. In episode 5, we talked about the aftermath, that strange, unsettled feeling that can show up after you start choosing yourself. The guilt, the tenderness, the sense that something is off, even when nothing bad has happened. I want to revisit that through a different lens because sometimes what we read as guilt or anxiety or something wrong is actually just a feeling in the body. It's your body responding to change. And when you're not used to being in your body, every physical feeling seems like a problem to solve. Let me give you an example. A woman I was working with started taking mornings for herself, just an hour, reading, walking, whatever she wanted, a beautiful private yes. And within a week, she wanted to quit, not because her family complained, not because it wasn't working, but because every morning she felt the tightness in her chest. This low-grade hum of an unease. Her mind said, this is wrong. You're being selfish. You need to stop. But when we slowed down, when she actually dropped into what she was feeling, instead of running from it, she realized something. The tightness wasn't guilt. It was unfamiliarity. It was her nervous system adjusting to a new pattern. It was decades of conditioning loosening its grip. The feeling wasn't telling her to stop. It was telling her she was changing. This is why body awareness matters so much in midlife reinvention, because your body is going to react to change. That's not optional. The question is, will you read every reaction as a red flag, or can you learn to stay present with what you're feeling long enough to understand what it's actually telling you? Here's what I've learned to ask myself when something uncomfortable shows up in my body. Is this telling me I'm in danger or is it telling me I'm in transition? 9 times out of 10, it's transition. Your body isn't trying to stop you. It's trying to catch up with who you're becoming. Okay, let's talk about self-care for a minute because I think we've gotten it wrong. When most women hear self-care, they think bubble bath, face mask, maybe a glass of wine. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not what we're talking about here. Real self care isn't about pampering yourself, it's about nourishing yourself on every level. We journal, we read personal development books, we listen to podcasts. Hi, hello, thank you for being here. But we often skip the parts that require us to actually be in our bodies. Here's something that shifted my view thinking about care on 4 levels: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. Mental care is about what you're feeding your mind, the books, the content, the conversations. Yes, emotional care is about processing feelings, not just thinking about them, having space to actually feel what you're carrying. Spiritual care is about connection to something bigger. That might be faith, nature, creativity, whatever grounds you in meaning. And physical care is about the body, not just exercise, though that counts, but pleasure, rest, being in your physical form. Most of us are really good at the mental stuff. The rest, not so much. We're very good at thinking about our lives. We're less practiced at feeling them. And here's the thing about reinvention. It doesn't just happen in your head. It happens in your nervous system. New patterns have to be felt in your bones. Your body has to learn that it's safe to want things, safe to take up space, safe to choose yourself. That's not thinking work. That's body work. You can't think your way to feeling safe in your own skin. You have to practice it. So what does this naturally look like? How do you start reconnecting with a body you've been overriding for decades? I want to give you 3 practices. These aren't complicated. They don't require equipment or hours of time, but they do require something most of us aren't used to: slowing down enough to feel. Practice 1, the 2-minute check-in. This is the simplest practice, and honestly, it was the hardest for me at first. Once a day, maybe in the morning. Usually for me, it was in the morning, maybe before bed, maybe when you're feeling worked up. Stop and ask yourself, where am I holding tension right now? Don't try to fix it. Don't stretch it away or push through it. Just notice. Maybe it's your jaw. Maybe it's your shoulders. Maybe it's a knot in your stomach you've been ignoring for 3 days. Just notice, name it. There's tightness in my chest. That's it. That's the whole practice. You're rebuilding the connection between your awareness and your body. And that starts with simply paying attention. Practice 2, feel first, fix later. This one is for moments when an emotion hits. Frustration, sadness, that uncomfortable guilt. Instead of immediately going to your head, why am I feeling this? What should I do about it? What does this mean? Try staying in what you're feeling for 90 seconds, just 90 seconds. Where is this emotion living in your body? What does it actually feel like? Is it hot, cold, tight, buzzy, heavy? You're not analyzing, you're experiencing. This was a game changer for me because I realized I had been telling the story of my emotions my entire life without ever actually feeling them. I could explain my feelings really well, but I couldn't sit with them. When you let an emotion move through your body instead of just your mind, it often passes faster and you get information you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And practice 3, the grounding reset. This is for the moments when everything feels chaotic, when your nervous system is fired up, when you're spiraling in your head and you can't find solid ground. Here's what you do. Feel your feet on the floor. Really feel them. The weight of your body pressing down, the texture of the surface beneath you. Take 3 slow breaths, not deep breaths. You don't need to perform breathing, just slow ones. Let the exhale be a little longer than the inhale. And then this is the part I love. Put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly and just feel the warmth of your own hands on your body. It sounds so simple. It's almost silly, but this practice has gotten me through more hard moments than I can count. Because what you're doing is telling your body, I'm here, I'm with you, and you're not alone. For women who have spent decades abandoning themselves to take care of everyone else, that message matters more than you might think. I want to tie this back to everything we've been building together. In episode 1, we talked about the permission trap, how you were never given permission to want things for yourself. In episode 3, we dug up the parts of you that got buried under decades of responsibility. In episode 4, we named the messy middle, why choosing yourself feels so uncomfortable. In episode 5, we learned how to stay with ourselves through the aftermath. And now, episode 6, we're bringing the body along. Because here's what I want you to know. Coming home to your body is choosing yourself. Every time you pause to notice what you're feeling, you're choosing yourself. Every time you honor what your body tells you instead of overriding it, you're choosing yourself. Every time you ground into your own body, instead of abandoning it for your to-do list, you're choosing yourself. This isn't separate from the reinvention work. This is the reinvention work. You're not just becoming someone who thinks differently about her life. You're becoming someone who lives differently in her body. That's the joy shift. If you've spent years living from the neck up, if you've been so busy thinking and doing that you forgot how to feel and be, I want you to hear this. Your body has been waiting for you. It's not too late to come home. Here's your practice this week. Try the 2-minute check-in once a day, just once. Stop what you're doing and ask, where am I holding tension right now? Don't fix it. Just notice. That's it. That's the whole practice. And notice what shifts when you start paying attention to what your body is telling you. Now, I have a few favors to ask, and I don't ask lightly because I know your time and energy are precious. First, if this episode hit home, if you realize you've been living from the neck up too, would you share it with one woman who needs to hear it? Maybe she's exhausted, but can't stop pushing. Maybe she's doing all the mindset work, but something still isn't clicking. Send her this episode. Second, if you've been listening to the Joy Shift and it's meant something to you, would you take 30 seconds to leave a review? Those reviews help other women find the show when they're searching for exactly the kind of support. It's one of the best ways you can help me reach more women who are ready for their own joy shift. And third, hit that follow or subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. We're going deeper into what it looks like to choose yourself inside your actual life without burning everything down to do it. The Midlife Reinvention Starter Guide is waiting for you in the show notes. It's free and it's the perfect companion to everything we've been doing and building together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being brave enough to come home to yourself. Your body has been waiting. I'll see you next week.